All right. Well, thanks, Tom. I'm joined this afternoon by Tom Hernan, who is the founder, owner, and chief executive of Blue Hen Insurance. Tom has been a friend of mine for several years, but also has been somebody I've relied upon for not only insurance coverage, but also great network and being able to make some connections as well. So, Tom, more importantly, also thank you for your service as a veteran. One of the things that we want to talk about today is, as part of the work love program that I'm doing, we're talking to people who really enjoy what they do. And it's not like I enjoy it when it's 4:30 and I know that I'm about to leave. It's like I love what I do, and because I love what I do, I'm super knowledgeable. But I'm also somebody who, in most cases, does not start off in high school and say, "This is what I want to do," and now I've arrived. Right? So rarely does that actually happen.
Not at
And
all.
and so we work with students and we work with college graduates and we work with people who are experienced that get to a place where they're just burnt out and they need to find that thing they really enjoy doing. More importantly, you are also a veteran, and many times veterans coming out of active service are faced with the discussion and or situation of how do I translate my active service to something in private industry and to an opportunity. And not only is it a translation in terms of your responsibilities, but it's also a translation in terms of thought and how you're operating as well. So I'm excited to get to talk to you today, and I appreciate you taking some time. I know it's a busy time for you right now, but
Always have time for you, Kevin.
thank you, sir. But I'm glad that we could connect and that we can share this certainly with our network and our members as well, in terms of kind of how you got there. So, Tom, with that, I'll say, tell us who you are.
So, Kevin, thank you for the very warm introduction there. My name's Tom Hernan, and I am the owner and principal agent of Blue Hen Insurance. I'm also a proud Air Force veteran. I was born and raised in Northeast Ohio. And after high school, and to be very honest, my grades in high school were not so stellar. I decided it was time to kind of to make a leap of faith, jump into something different. And when it's all said and done, my uncle, who is actually my favorite uncle, and he's actually my bookkeeper here for the agency, encouraged me to talk to the Air Force recruiter. And next thing I know, I was in basic training. It wasn't bad though, wasn't bad. And while I was in, I I had two career fields. I was a cook, which I enjoyed a lot, and I actually wanted to be a restaurant owner way back in the day. But I kind of got tired of working every Friday night and Saturday night and Sunday morning at whatever early time. I mean, the military does not stop. They have 4 meals a day and it's a 24/7 operation. So I changed careers and I actually went into public affairs. I was the newspaper editor of the Dover Air Force Base airlifter back in the day.
Okay.
I'm a I'm an above average writer, but I'm not good enough to do it as a professional, and I have to be honest about it. So
Mhm.
going into the journalism role, while it seemed really like a good idea, I was the wrong guy.
Mhm.
I checked all the boxes and I got through the formal education piece, but it wasn't meant for me
Yeah.
for a living. So the Air Force asked me to stay in, and I comfortably decided to go spend their money and take the GI Bill and run with it. And
Mhm.
while I was in college, I stumbled into a sales opportunity at my school newspaper, and I'll never forget the marketing class I was in. This woman who goes, "Hey, there's a job, but it's commission based," and she said it with a negative connotation. Why? I had the GI Bill, and I was like, I just want to build my resume. I just want to do something different.
Yeah.
The following semester, I was her manager.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's a great
I
story.
thrived in sales.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. And whatever reluctance or fear I had about the word commission or bonus or whatever just went out the window.
Hmm.
And when I had been in the service, there had been a couple of examples, but the one that stands out to me, I'll never forget it. I had turned 21 and I was stationed in South Korea,
Hmm.
and I lost my day off work. I had to work my 21st birthday. What's the big deal? Well, I didn't want to work my birthday,
Hmm.
but my superintendent looked at me as the go-to guy. He was like, I need Tom to get this done. it's Friday. I don't care if it's his birthday. He's working because it'll get done.
Yep.
Well, when I realized that I was always somebody else's go-to person, why couldn't I be my own?
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of gave me the confidence and the wherewithal to get into sales and to get kind of get that comfort level.
Yeah.
And then I will throw out there, I left, and I will throw out there to any veteran watching this, transitioning out of the service, they do a pretty okay job giving you some classes. Take every one of them. Go to the Toastmasters networking thing. Learn how to shake hands. Learn how to pass a business card. Learn how to give an elevator speech. Because I don't care if you go into a trades career, a sales career. It doesn't matter. That transition, that, hey, here's who I am. I have 30 seconds to share my story and capture you. It goes over so well, so well.
Yeah, that's great advice as well, because I find that inside and outside of the military, being able to really knock out that elevator makes a huge difference. It's in your first impression. You've got about 3 seconds to grab somebody and have them retain who you are and what you're looking for. And I will say that there is a disadvantage on the military side of people on the private side of private industry don't always have an idea of what you're talking about. They're not sure what you're talking about in terms of what your responsibilities are, and so going through those classes will help you to be able to translate, and also finding similar veterans to yourself that have made that move that can help with some of the translation too. So
the military, and this is also very similar with insurance. We speak in jargon. We have letters and acronyms and funny sounding things. But when I talk insurance, or when I try to relate to another veteran, you have to find common dialect, or words that people are comfortable with. And right now in my profession now, when I literally talk to somebody, I'm like, you can ask me anything. I'll explain to you how it's going to work, what you need to look out for. And I could just start rattling off terms right now. You'd be like, Tom, that doesn't make any sense. But that's what I try to do. And that's one of the things that I think makes me referable, presentable, successful, all those different things. I just try to make insurance. I try to speak insurance, if you will, but in English, in layman's terms, where people just can relate and understand.
So one of the questions I like to ask people in these interviews is, what are you great at, right? And you sort of hit that just now, but I think what's also important, maybe to somebody who's considering going into insurance or considering going into sales, is if I were to say to you point blank, Tom, what are you great at? What would you say?
My work ethic. I'll be very humble, Kevin. I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I will try to find out who is. I will pick their brain. I will learn more from them. But also when I have the discipline and I have the business plan or the mindset that I'm going to do something, it just becomes my passion, my drive, my motivation, my whatever. Someone could tell me like, oh, hey, you can't do this. My response is, watch me. And I love that. It's almost like a negative motivation, which is kind of weird. I'm probably not wired right, but where a lot of people are incentivized with rewards and bonuses, which I like rewards and bonuses. I like trips. I like everything. But being told you can't do something is really what gets me going. And that's where my discipline and my work ethic truly come into to play.
So I think one of the other terms that I would characterize you with would be prepared, right? I think that I've never had a conversation with you where you weren't either ready for myself or somebody else that I knew that I was connecting you to, or if there was information you didn't have, you'd be able to get that and bring it back very quickly, but you knew where it was coming from and who you're going to get it from. And I think that that's very, very important, not just in insurance, but certainly in sales and certainly in building your brand. And so the next kind of component of this that comes up is, I'm picking people to interview who truly love their jobs, because I think it's important that people see you can find that component. You can find that place you want to be. When did you know, or I guess, how did you end up realizing you were in love with your work?
It didn't take long.
Mhm.
to be honest. And I think it's because I figured out I can make my living helping people and giving them
Yeah.
information and guidance, and also being there to prevent that that if factor, or that oh no factor of,
Mhm.
hey, we just had a car accident, hey,
Mhm.
we just had a house fire, hey, and this is a real true story here. I had a client that had diagnosed and unfortunately passed away of brain cancer.
Mhm.
All those things we had planned for, talked out, had the plan might have been a reaction to the accident or to the diagnosis, but we had already had the conversations to talk about what we wanted to see on the other side of the car accident, or that terminal diagnosis, which is yeah, that's a hard situation.
Yep. Yeah, that's not an easy conversation, I'm sure. And I think that you know, I
Kevin,
love
to
the. Go ahead.
to add,
Yeah.
when I tell people all the time, life happens, and typically real estate and insurance happens around it. The birth of a child, the marriage, downsizing, like you become an empty nester.
Mhm.
Those are the fun conversations for me. I like to tell people, congratulations on your new
Mhm.
house, congratulations on your new car. I've been privy to 30, if not 40 young men calling me to tell me they bought engagement rings for someone special. The woman doesn't even know yet. Sometimes the parents don't even know that he bought the ring. He bought it
Yep.
to go show them.
Yep.
That makes me smile. The
That's
second
amazing.
someone's giving me
Mhm.
that, hey, I got to talk to you and you can't say a word.
Mhm.
Okay. And
Yeah.
just to share, I'm not an attorney. I'm not a physician. I don't have confidentiality. I do. I don't tell anybody anything. But
Mhm.
when someone shares with me, oh man, that's a great day. That
Mhm.
just makes me smile ear to ear. And I'm like, that's a huge life event. And it's one of the good ones. It's
Mhm.
one of the great ones, actually.
Yeah. And I think your preparedness as well to know, hey, this is fantastic. Congratulations. I'm glad that you're at this place in your life where things are going to be exciting, and it's a whole new kind of frontier. But also to be able to say, okay, you don't need to worry about this now, but I want to have this in your mind so going forward, you're buying a house, you're buying a car, you're going to have kids, all of those things that you should also keep as you're building out your portfolio or your protection, that these are things you need to be worried about as well in the future. And so I think you could just focus, and I think somebody who didn't enjoy it, right, would focus on, let's just solve this little thing, and we're not going to worry about everything else that could go on. But your view of it, and people who are very good at what they do, is, yeah, there's this thing we're going to solve, but then we're also going to talk about the fact that there's this other stuff that you should also be aware of, because you may not know. And so, making sure that they're ready.
I joke around, but there's a shirt I just got for my birthday, and it says, "I'm an insurance agent. I solve problems you don't know you have."
Yep.
And and a lot of times there's things where you kind of go through the process and you talk it out, and you're like, whether it be a new house or
Mhm.
a new sports car, who knows? It doesn't matter what the person's doing.
Mhm.
Let's talk about what could go wrong. And
Yep.
nobody wants to have that bad day.
Mm-mm.
But that's also why we mitigate the risk. We have insurance. We pay the premiums to not lose sleep at night about, what if my house burns down?
Yep.
No, we have a plan in place. Here
Yep.
you go.
Yep. Very, very true. Very true. That's why we keep you on speed dial. So, so tell me, this is one of my favorite questions we came up with. Tell me who you wish you would have listened to growing up. So either something or a person that you wish you would have listened to growing up. Because I find that, and you're at the kind of a similar place that I'm at, with you're now raising kids who are going to be making decisions, and you probably know some of the answers that you wish they knew. And so maybe I'm feeding myself on this, but I think that this is not a thing that stops at the end of the teens. I think it goes on for quite some time. So tell us what your answer would be to
Well, Kevin, it's a trick question. How much time do you have?
that. We have unlimited reel. It's Zoom. We're fine.
So I think there's two things that really stand out to me. And then one came from a drill sergeant,
Mhm.
and he said, "You are not the smartest man in the room, but go find out who is." And 18 years old, I thought I was invincible, and I was like, "What do you mean I'm not the smartest man in the room?" Well, I'm not. So it's a little humbling just to be like, "Well, let me go talk to other people. Let me go learn and explore and try to figure things out."
Yep.
And I suppose the other one is, I coulda, shoulda, woulda,
Mhm.
maybe had gone through ROTC or a service academy. Not that I did things backwards, but if I had been, and let me clarify, I'm a good student. I was not interested in high school, or I was easily
Mhm.
distracted in high
Mhm.
school. It was like, oh, look, squirrel. And then I
Yep.
just went the other way.
Yep.
Because I could have earned my degree prior to serving and then went in as an officer,
Mhm.
but that just wasn't who I was at the time, and that's okay. So
Yeah.
I did things, enlisted, and then went through college after I had served, which I will throw out there from a transitioning standpoint was a little bit harder as a non-traditional student.
Mhm.
I showed up on campus with a girlfriend who is now the mother of my children, and unfortunately, she's my ex-wife, whatever. But like,
Mhm.
when you're 24 and everyone else around you 18, it was a little bit harder of a transition. But
Yeah.
that also gave me the depth of, or the experience, because when I did go to school, I hit the books hard. I wasn't having my first beer or my first girlfriend or
Mhm.
I was a grown man. And then,
Yep.
if anything, I'm not trying to sound braggish here, but I whizzed through college. I got my degree in 2.5 years. And again, I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but I was driven. I worked
Mhm.
hard. I took summer school, winter break. I clept a few things. And then lo and behold, I was done. And they gave
Yep.
me a piece of paper and I rolled.
Yep. So I just want to hit on this real quick while we're talking about that, because I do think this is not uncommon. In terms of where you were with your career, and kind of having an idea where you wanted to go, if we put that on a timeline along with you returning to college, right? Where would those two things live? So are they at the same time or different times? Had you figured out where you wanted to go at that point or no?
I knew I wanted to get into business.
Hmm.
I didn't know what capacity
Hmm.
of business. I was thinking more managerial
Hmm.
stuff, which I do. I guess I have employees. I do manage them, but I am far from a micromanager in
Hmm.
in that capacity.
Hmm.
I believe in leading by example. I believe by setting expectations and then just kind of doing that accountability check-in.
Hmm.
Everything just works itself out. I don't need to look over your shoulder and what did you do 7 minutes ago? That
Yep.
doesn't work.
Yeah.
But I will throw out there that I knew when I was in the Air Force that I wanted to get into business. I didn't know it was insurance.
Hmm.
I still had kind of been leaning towards the restaurant industry,
Hmm.
but I'm a great cook. But again, I figured out, I like to have Friday nights off and Saturday nights off. And again, I see nothing wrong. I respect every restaurant owner out there, and God bless every one of them for making it through COVID. And the ones that didn't, I feel
Mm.
bad. I feel very bad.
Yeah.
But for me, myself, and I just didn't want to work anymore Friday and Saturday nights. And being in sales and being in insurance lend itself to that very well.
Hmm. So yeah, I do think that there's a component in your life. There's two things that I think happen probably more than we realize. One is that you will say something's going to happen to yourself, and that happens. And at some point, you turn around and go, "Whoa, is that because I said that, or did I actually make that happen, or how does that figure out together?" And I do think that you can verbalize something in your own head, and it becomes a real thing. It happens, right? The other thing I think that happens is you get a little closer to where your target should be, and your intensity increases. And so that may be what happened going into college was saying, all right, I know where I want to be, and perhaps even in some cases, and we're wired very similar in terms of like, tell me I can't, right? So maybe it was also some of the, I don't want to end up here, so I need to focus here, and I'll figure this out after. Which is, it's just an interesting kind of thing to pick at, because I think a lot of people experience that. Some of the people that I know that are entrepreneurs that were not great high school students, myself included in that, got to a place where they could suddenly put it together in a way that it made sense to them, and then it became easier to move through. And so it's interesting that that was your feeling as well. Um, how has failure contributed to your success?
Well, if you don't fail, you don't learn.
Mm,
And I mean, do I love to win? Do I love to earn a piece of business
mhm,
or hit an award or whatever?
mhm,
Absolutely.
mhm,
But I also try to have a takeaway, and whether it be I don't know, a big proposal that didn't go my way, or um, how about this one? I misspelled. Um, I'm not even going to go back in names, but it was a very famous person.
mhm.
I misspelled their name in my newspaper, and there was 8,700 copies of my error glaring on the front page, Kevin. It was literally like, wow. But I was rushing. And
Mhm,
I have to just pause and say, when I rush and I feel pressure, and I'm not dyslexic, but I get sloppy, I get
mhm.
complacent, I get, oh, it's good enough. It's gotta be right. It's gotta be right.
Yep.
Well, ever since then, I put my proposal away for 40 minutes, an hour. I go get a glass of water, soda, whatever. I
Mhm,
shift gears, and then when I come back to it, it's like my eyes and my brain are fresh, and I can check it, and I
yep.
find that mistake, and that really embarrassing error.
Built.
I can't say I won't make it again,
Mhm,
but I'm doing my best not to.
yeah. But I think that builds character, and it also teaches you, hey, you're still alive. You can recover from errors and from mistakes. Um, it's interesting. So the follow up to that would be, when did you realize you should learn from failure? Was it that one or different one?
There's a whole slew of things. Whole slew of things.
Mhm,
If anything, I think learning is a lifetime activity.
mhm,
And you know, here's a prime example. And I was just talking to a colleague yesterday, and he's closer to retirement because I mean I'm far away from it. But this gentleman he is a very successful salesman. And I was like, well, what are you going to do next? And he was like, I don't know. And I was like, why don't you go into teaching?
mhm.
Because now that you have had all these experiences and different challenges, go back and give it to someone younger.
Yep.
And you know, there was a professor when I was in college, and it was a sales course. It was probably one of the two classes in college I took the most from. And in a room of 40 kids, I know for a fact it was myself and another young lady. We were the only ones that wanted to go into sales as a profession.
Mhm,
Well, guess what? The other 38 kids learned the process, learned what is going on when they go to buy a car, they go to
mhm.
buy a house. Nobody's caught off guard. You get the shtick back and forth.
Yep.
Now on the flip side, I learned about relationships. I learned about different marketing things. I learned about showing people appreciation when they send you a referral, or they do something to help you grow.
Mhm,
And you know that I think that was my takeaway from him, and also my takeaway for myself, because I do want to be that professor one day. You
mhm,
know, and one of the things I think I enjoy about insurance now, and don't get me wrong, I do love helping a new client, and I do love being there when someone's having a challenging life event. I think that's a very important part.
mhm,
But I love teaching people.
mhm.
That's
Yep.
I have a young employee now, and I stole her from a competitor. No big deal. She'll tell you all day long. I never saw it that way. It was Tom has a different lens or a unique
Mhm,
approach on things. Um, and it's everything from overcoming objection to, when someone calls us and they say, I'm buying a house.
mhm.
We all stop here. Stop. Congratulations. Congratulations. Why? You're buying a house.
Mhm.
It's the American dream.
Yep.
And I don't care if you're buying a little Cape Cod or a $5 million beach house. It is the biggest deal to you. And I want you to hear from me first.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Yeah. That's important. Absolutely. Um, so we've all been through, I think we can all collectively say this at this point, a lot over the last couple of years. And I think one of the reasons I wanted to do this program and continue to do this program is that I'm hearing from a lot of people who are coming to me and saying, I need a new job. I need to find a new job. And it may or may not be that it's the job. It might be what is expected of them and the role and how it's evolved since they've joined there or since they've gone through the pandemic. But I think that it's shaped everyone, and in a lot of ways for good and for bad. And I think we're sorting that out, and there's probably been some failure to learn from along the way. But I think that it's been something that people are now putting their arms around, saying, "Hey, you know what? I learned a lot through that experience." And so, would I want to do it again? No, but it is something that definitely has shaped how I see things, and probably has presented some opportunities as well. How has the pandemic affected your thinking, both in work and in life?
Well, in my personal life, I kind of joked around, and it was pretty much everything my mom told me when I was, 2 years old. Wash your hands, cover your mouth when you sneeze, turn your head when you cough into your
Yep.
elbow.
Yep.
Um, stay home when you're sick.
Yep.
Those were all the, again, when you were like a year and a half, 2 years old, and your mom was telling you all those things.
Yeah.
Mom was right.
Oh yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure my mom's watching this right now. So, Mom, you were right.
Maybe we should go back and ask the question again about who you wish you to listen to.
But professionally, it taught me kind of to hunker down on the fundamentals and my business plan,
Mhm.
and not to take things for granted. And part of that is relationships, business partners. One of the things a lender here in town and I did was just to give back to first responders as well as medical professionals, where we called it a drive-by pizza party. We partnered with a pizza shop,
Yep.
put together a little website, and
Wow.
anybody out there who was a local responder, first responder, medical staff, they got to come pick up a pizza on us. All we were
I had
doing was
no
saying
idea
thank
you
you.
did that. That's fantastic.
Yep.
That's fantastic. Okay. That's great.
Our especially when things were very uncertain, very
Mhm.
uncomfortable.
Mhm.
The frontline response people, and Kevin, I got to work from home. I got to work from my office with my very small team.
Yep.
I wasn't dealing with the sick and the contaminant or contagious. Like I
Or the
was very
risk level.
fortunate.
There was very
Yeah,
low
my
risk
risk
level.
level was very low.
Mhm.
But with that, I would say it was an opportunity for us to give back. So
Mhm.
it was nice.
That's awesome.
And then again, going back to the business plan and just kind
Mhm.
of saying hunkering down, it did take a minute because when the phone rings and rings and rings and then all of a sudden stops ringing, it was a little off. It was a little
Mhm.
concerning. But I think part of my thought process or part of my preparedness was, okay, this is what we do. We've been doing
Mhm.
this 15 years. We're just going to go back to the fundamentals, and then it almost started to be like a how you doing phone call versus,
Yep.
do you have anybody for me to quote?
Mhm.
No. How are you? How are your
Mhm.
family? Everybody healthy?
Mhm.
It kind of changed our dialogue and our thought process.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a great point. And I think that the follow up to that would be, because you were in a unique space on the insurance side, and your experience in multiple different verticals, did it change how you view even insurance for that matter, and how you view the actual products?
Not so much. Not so much. My bread and butter
Hmm.
is auto and homeowners insurance.
Hmm.
Don't get me wrong. I'm a full service brokerage. We're in 7 states. I do a lot of different things, from professional liability coverages
Hmm.
to work comp.
Hmm.
You name it. We can do everything. But for the most part, it, it didn't change too much. If anything, I'll say a lot of the insurance carriers, they did a stay in place credit where you got a discount on some typically car insurance,
Yep.
and they also really went out of their way to help people impacted by COVID with some different billing
Yes.
guidance, or I won't say the word guidance, but the billing just got really confusing. But it was basically like, what can you pay us, please? And we're
Hmm.
here for you. We don't want to cancel you. We know, you know, eh, again, going back to the restaurant employees and restaurant owners,
Hmm.
when you're not making tips, there's nobody out there eating and drinking on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday night.
Hmm.
Sports aren't happening.
Hmm.
Oh man, the ripple effect of that is just huge. And the insurance carriers really, I think they stepped up to a lot. They made it, again, they still wanted to get paid. They weren't doing anything for free, but they
Hmm.
made it a lot easier for people. So I learned that. I learned to just kind of give people some grace and
Yep.
let them work through it.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think um, that is something that helped quite a few people. I think even from a mental health perspective, whether they could pay or did not pay, or they were thinking, I'm not sure how much longer I can pay, giving them a little bit of a mental health break and saying, hey, if you've got a problem, you call us and we'll figure this out. But it wasn't just, if you can't pay, that's the end of that. So I think that made a big difference for people as well.
It did.
So the last question we have, which is funny because nobody has ever kept it to a word. So I'll let the cat out of the bag on that. But when you're ready to hang it up, what word do you hope describes your career?
Rock star.
Oh, I like that. That's still 2 words. Nobody can win this. Nobody can do it. But yeah, but rock star is a great one. So
no, insurance guru,
okay.
insurance nerd. I don't know. You can call me a lot of different things.
Okay.
No, I just want to do well by my clients, do well for my team, pay my bills, pay everyone else, help people do well. And I mean, I don't have one word, but I'm also very, very far from hanging it up, Kevin.
Good.
We're just getting into the good times now.
I know. I'm looking forward to that. And also, both of us having expanded into multiple states at the same time during a pandemic was exciting. Without being able to actually visit those states was really kind of fun. So it's been fun. Tom, I've certainly valued our friendship and our opportunity to work together.
Likewise.
With connecting folks that I know you'll take care of, and you've always done that. I've always gotten the phone call after saying, "Wow, he was great. He's really helped us out quite a bit and gave us a better look at the big picture." This is not a commercial for Tom, but it is something that I think people who are great at what they do, you get that back after you refer them, and that's something that you can't fake. And so that's why I chose you, and certainly your experience coming out of the military as a veteran, and thank you again for your service. But making that move, you've gone through quite a bit. You've transitioned through quite a few different scenes, and obviously you're a successful business leader at this point, who what you're looking for. You're passionate about what you do, and I mean, I am a recovering accountant. I knew it wasn't a good fit early on when I was the guy planning happy hour every day. Maybe not every day, but close. And so I think when you're passionate about what you do, you tend to sort of eat that stuff, and it becomes second nature to be able to talk about it. And I feel as though when I talk to you, that's exactly who you are. So
if I had to grow up again, Kevin, and like go get another job, I don't know what I would do. I truly don't want to do anything else. Again, at this point in my life, I look forward to maybe one day being that college professor where I can give back to a younger person and help them understand relationship management and building and forming relationships and the sales process. But right now, today, I'm meant to be an insurance professional, and I truly love coming to work. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
I do like going to the beach too, but I enjoy coming to work.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have a little bit of everything, but there's that thing that you need, that's your common kind of center. If we have people who are listening to this, that are watching this, that say to themselves, you know what, I'm kind of interested in insurance. You open to people reaching out to you directly?
Love it. They're always welcome to reach out.
Sounds great.
If someone's outgoing, they're energetic, they're willing to learn and be the student of the game. They can be coachable. They don't have to be licensed when they reach out. I'm happy to explain how the process works. Obviously, to be an insurance professional, you have to maintain a property and casualty license. Typically, we ask people to get health and life licenses as well. But with that, the opportunity is all yours. We offer different bonuses, new business commissions, renewal commissions. Insurance really is a unique product, and you can do a lot of things. And I mean that for both your clientele as well as your own personal liberties, where you can build a very, very comfortable living if you can put in the work and be dedicated and follow through with it.
Yeah, That's excellent. And I think that you would be, obviously you have been and will continue to be great at developing people into that industry as well. So, Tom, I appreciate your time. It was good to catch up with you. We could do this all day. I think I'm on like the third of this is my last question already.
Well, then Kevin, you got to go.
So we're going to get going here, but I'll reserve the right to revisit this at some point in the future and check back in on you. It was great
Anytime,
talking to you. It was great talking to you. We'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Thank you, Kevin. Have a great day.
Thanks, Tom.